Welcome into the Bullpen here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. We are broadcasting live inside ESPN Bet at LaBerge in Lake Charles. Brian, Sean, myself, Joe, here with you till 12 o'clock, leading up into the action of today's games. Of course, we'll have the Cowboys-Ravens game coming up later on the station. And, well, boys, how was your night last night, Sean?
It was overall.
Depends on when you ask them.
Yeah, it was overall pretty good. Pretty good night. Great afternoon watching the games here in the sports book, and yeah, I think I carried most of that momentum until BYU Kansas State kicked off, and then
it just kind of
tailed off there.
Tailed off.
That was the sign I needed to go to bed. So I did.
Yeah, that did not. That went better for me. I had the other side of that, a little small wager. I think the most heat we had was for obviously the finish to the Baylor-Colorado game. You two fellas cashed in with the Colorado side. I unfortunately had Baylor minus 3.5 and went through quite the emotional roller coaster there towards the end when I thought the game was over. Went into overtime, and then of course the fumble that ended the game.
Yeah. I just bet on Colorado money line as soon as they went to overtime. So that was my wager. I just took them straight up. Well, there was no spread being offered at the time. So, because I don't even know what you offer in overtime with this new rule.
Yeah, what would you even offer?
I think a 1.5 because you have to assume that they're going to go to the 2-point conversion basically at some point.
Yeah, I guess it would all just be 1.5.
You have to do money line at that point. But obviously today, coming up 12 o'clock, C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, and the Houston Texans take on the Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson, both 2-0 teams. We know that Joe Mixon's not going to play today. J.J. Taylor, the rookie that they picked up this offseason, has been elevated to the practice squad. So it feels like it's him and it's Dario Gumbawale and it's Cam Akers are your running backs today. How are you guys feeling about today's game?
I'm uneasy. It's Sam Darnold. Like, we should feel extremely confident. But when you look at this Texans team, I saw this stat tweeted out by John Crumpler, and it kind of, like, I think we've all – well, it's weird because we've looked at the Texans games, and for the most part, they look pretty good, but there's still signs of, I don't know. There's, underlying concerns that we have. I think you guys on different shows this week have talked about, the running on first down. And John Crumpler tweeted out that only the Giants have a worse first down pass success rate than the Texans. First down passing for the Texans only succeeds 26% of the time. Only the Giants are worse. So you factor that in that for whatever reason, Bobby Slowick's play mix is not working with his passes on first down, and you take out your top two running backs. Now you got Cam Akers, who fumbled in the last game, and a good Minnesota defense on the road. I'm feeling a little uneasy.
Yeah, this is going to be in C.J. Stroud we trust kind of game. I don't think there's any other way the Texans win this. There's not going to be another Joe Mixon against the Colts, but this time it's J.J. Taylor or Akers.
Yeah, he's not running for a buck 49.
Cam Akers' revenge game.
Many revenge games in this game.
So many revenge games. But I think it's going to be one where it's going to have to be on C.J. Stroud and this passing offense for the Texans really fully clicking for an entire game in a way that they really haven't so far outside of a couple drives against the Bears, a couple drives against the Colts.
First half against the Bears, they look great. Second half.
Yeah, first half against the Colts, and it was more
Bears.
Yeah, against the Bears. It was a little more stop-start in week one, which is expected. You kind of think this team is going to get sharper and sharper on offense as it goes. But yeah, that to me is the biggest takeaway with their top two running backs out. Going to have to throw the ball a lot more effectively.
Well, and I mean, it's CJ Stroud, so you feel like that should be okay. This is a weird game.
There's worse places to be.
Yeah, I mean, it is such a weird game because you just were saying, Brian, before the season, if you do the whole win-loss thing, you go, what's Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's J.J. McCarthy, and then J.J. McCarthy tears his ACL. So it's definitely Sam
Either
Darnold.
way, you're not even penciling it. Yeah, you're writing in an ink.
Cool, Justin Jefferson's going to go off. Don't care. W. But the way the Vikings have played, coming off a win against the San Francisco 49ers, even though the 49ers, in that game, they lost Debo. They lost, obviously, McCaffrey didn't play. So they're dealing with a lot themselves. But the Vikings have played good football so far. I mean, Sam Darnold has made mistakes, yes, but he is in line right now to be the new Baker Mayfield of he's going to have maybe he's going to get a big contract in this offseason from a different team.
Let's pump the brakes a little bit.
No, I mean, the way that he's played so far, I mean, like, I don't know, maybe it's just like you go play for Shanahan and don't play for a year, and then you go somewhere else. Someone's going to pay Sam Darnold already after these 2 games.
Yeah,
he's going to be the transition quarterback somewhere else next season.
I guess there was a team that fooled themselves into believing in Mitchell Trubisky after he rehabbed himself in Buffalo at one point. So maybe he could get another contract. I think if the Texans win this game, I mean, Sean, you mentioned C.J. Stroud. Obviously, if C.J. Stroud puts the team on his back like Greg Jennings, then they win the game. I think the other thing you got to hope that as far as someone putting the team on their back is what we saw in the last game against the Bears. If Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter dominate the Vikings offensive line like they did the Bears offensive line, I think it was 17 pressures combined. Something like no, it was actually I think 30. Like, well,
so they had 23 pressures on pass plays, but combined the players had 36 pressures.
Yeah, like 37 dropbacks, and Caleb Williams was pressured on 36. If they do that to Sam Darnold, especially with Addison out, you know, maybe you double Justin Jefferson, you get to Sam Darnold, they can win an ugly game with an under, you know, let's say 17-10 or something like that. I think that's probably the path to victory.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, and then the defense, that's what I think I said on Friday with Paul. I think the defense might just be better than the offense this year. And it's not that the offense isn't going to be very successful at times, but, you know, obviously it can be clunky. You have now a running back injury issue, and we saw how much they struggled last year when Dameon Pierce was the main guy. But it's not more about the offense than it's just the defense, like the talent that they have with Hunter and Anderson, and what we've even seen so far through 2 weeks with Foley Fatukasi and Mario Edwards, and we're still waiting for Danico Autry. And then you have the secondary, which is, besides Jimmy Ward, has been incredible so far this season. So I think the defense is can be really special this year. And we all know that, like, when your head coach is an offensive-minded coach, you would think the offense would be better. When the defense is better, when it's a defensive-minded head coach, you would think that the defense would be better. So I think the defense should have not an easy day, but they'll be able to take advantage of like some Darnold mistakes.
Yeah, there's two. I mean, with either team has the ball, there is going to be an interesting kind of chess match there with either the Texans offense of Bobby Slowick going up against the Brian Flores defense, or Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings offense going up against D'Amico Ryans and that defense. So I think it's just a little bit more on, and maybe this is just be like watching this game through the Texans lens, and you kind of make the quarterback the main character. But I do think what is going to be more important is C.J. Stroud in the offense against Brian Flores, as opposed to vice versa.
I mean, I heard you and Dell talk about this. I think it was this last week. And certainly Dell has followed Brian Flores closely because he's a Dolphins fan. But he made the comment that Brian Flores traditionally has done well against the Lambs. He slaughters them. I think he might even use a stronger verbiage than slaughter. But when he faces, you know, a wolf, the wolf eats and the wolf does fine. So your hope is that C.J. Stroud is that wolf. The other curious thing about this was so many crossovers from team to team, like Blake Cashman, Jonathan Grenard. We heard C.J. Stroud be asked about it earlier this week about going against his former teammates. I wonder who that gives more an advantage to. Does that give Stroud an advantage, knowing the tendencies of a Cashman and Grenard's just trying to get the field. I don't know what sort of tendency you want there. Or do those guys have insight facing C.J. Stroud and a Bobby Slowick offense in practice all year long last season? Does that give the Vikings defense a leg up?
And the only reason why I would say I would lean that like Danielle Hunter has the advantage in that is just because of time. I mean, Grenard and Cashman were only there for a year with Slowick and CJ, right? So where Hunter, I don't even know how. I guess he's been there the whole time.
I think Kevin O'Connell's entire career until now.
Yeah, so like if it's like you're looking for like inside information, like I would lean towards Danielle Hunter having more. It does honestly kind of in a way like it kind of feels like this game might come down to like who has the better revenge game. Grenard or Hunter,
yeah, like I would say advantage Hunter, but that's I don't know.
Yeah, like which pass rusher just has the better day today? Like might just call it.
Whichever one goes full Bobby Boucher is what you're saying. Yeah, just screaming at.
I don't know that last sack that Hunter had on Caleb Williams, where he like leapfrogged onto him. That was kind of a Bobby Boucher sack.
that was very
and ran and jumped on him.
Dude, Danielle Hunter. the photo the Texans posted the other day
Yeah.
of just like he was like looking super swole.
Yeah.
Like
Well, he doesn't have to look. I mean, he
No,
just
but
is super
the
swole.
picture they
it was like extra.
Like
Like
every
it was-
muscle in his
they
arm
did
was
some, like,
firing
really
off.
good, like
yeah.
creative editing.
borderline erotic.
Like that is, yeah. Paul might have a,
I sent it to Paul.
I know Paul's a big fan of forearms.
Yeah.
especially the hunters. Like he feels that they're elite at this level. I'm still waiting for one day to get an email from the Texans PR staff and be like, hey, let's have Paul stop asking about
Can we get him to chill?
Daniil's workout routine. I'm like,
Can
what he's
Paul
doing.
stop using the word vascular when
Yeah.
talking about Daniil Hunter, please.
from Texans PR, being weird about Daniil Hunter.
Oh, if he hears this, he's gonna be so mad. What do you think is
There's
the
no chance he's awake right now.
no chance? How do you feel about the offense outside of CJ and the running back? Like, do you think we finally see Tank emerge? Diggs have a more efficient game. I know he scored 2 touchdowns in week 1, but he only had 6 catches for 35 yards.
Well, yeah, he hasn't topped 40 yards yet receiving.
Yeah. So who do you expect a bigger day from either of those guys? And I'd throw Schultz in that mix too.
I don't expect anything from Schultz, honestly.
Yeah, I think, going more with the revenge kind of element, I think it's Diggs that I expect to have, as far as the Texans receivers, to be the one that kind of break out of their, I don't want to say funk because it's 2 games, but to have their first good game of the season, really good game of the season. I would expect Diggs again, just more. I think it's going to be more emphasized to get Diggs more involved, not because of any tantrum potential,
Yeah.
but just because
Because it just means more, Sean.
well, also it's just, hey, we know who Stephon Diggs is in this league. Like, he has a track record in this league, and he's gonna be the one that I feel like is gonna get prioritized to get things right.
Yeah, this is his first game back in Minnesota since he demanded the trade. So
Is it really? He never went back there as a
never
Bill?
went back there as a Bill. So it's his first game back.
I do expect Diggs to get fed, but Nico's the guy. I think if we want the Tank Dell explosion, we're going to have to wait another week because Nico's the guy. He cannot be stopped. We saw that, obviously, the first 2 weeks. We saw that all last season. They could try to do whatever they want. They went into the game. The Colts and the Bears went into those games knowing they needed to stop Nico. They couldn't stop Nico. So I think Nico eats the day, and they manufacture stuff to Diggs, and Tank probably has to wait another week.
Honestly, when I was answering, I was only thinking about Diggs and Tank because in my mind, I was like,
Nico's going to eat.
It's good. Nico Collins is the one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And,
sorry, Paul.
Yes, and then bad segment for Paul, and then we'll go from there.
What does Tank Dell have to wait a year? What if he's
Maybe?
what if he's just not a big role?
One of these guys might miss a game or so.
Yeah.
These guys, they miss time, but I think as far as being a guy, a real guy in this offense, it might have to be next year.
We are broadcasting live from inside ESPN Bet at LaBerge, Lake Charles. Brian, Sean, myself. We'll have Matt Holland will join us at 10:30 here from the Sportsbook. Kind of talk about the reveal of ESPN Bet this weekend and what he's seen through 2 weeks. It's the Bullpen here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
You're listening to the Bullpen on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Welcome into the Bullpen here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Joe George, Brian McDonald, Sean Mapes here, broadcasting live from inside ESPN Bet at LaBerge, Lake Charles. They are starting to get everything set up and ready to go. I'm sure we'll have the Saints game will be a majority of the big screen here. Maybe we can convince them to make it the Texans. I know we're in Louisiana, but there's a lot of Texans.
I mean, there's a Will Fuller picture right above your shoulder, Joe.
Is there really?
Yeah. What we got? The photos: Will Fuller, DeAndre Hopkins, and Deshaun Watson.
Those are the days.
It's a bygone era.
Who's 25? Is that Lamar Miller?
Yeah, I think
no, he
so.
was 26.
No, he was 26. Yeah, I don't remember who 25 was.
Probably some just random.
There's no way to know. I'm not. You can't look it up and
We
find
can't
it. So.
know.
No, there's no way to
Jackson.
No, who would ever? Oh,
probably. What was he doing on the field with the offense?
I don't know.
he's probably just celebrating with his teammates, guys. Just
The Jackson
being
cat.
a good teammate.
Jackson. God.
That would have been something.
Bill O'Brien would have done that. Somewhere, if
If
Bill
I was-
O'Brien looks, he's like, "Damn, I missed that opportunity."
Did Bill O'Brien win yesterday?
I don't know.
I think they did. I could be wrong, but
Winners-
I
winners
think
win, Joe.
I
Of
think
course you won.
BC beat because they were playing. Oh gosh, I forgot who they were playing.
Oh yeah, they beat Michigan State 23-19.
Michigan State.
There you go, Bill O'Brien.
What's his record at now?
3-1.
Okay.
And he only
All
lost
right,
to
Billy
Mizzou.
B.
And he only lost to Mizzou by a touchdown. Really, it was like 2 touchdowns, but he scored at the end of the game.
A cosmetic one score loss. Yeah,
But might put him back in the top 25 again. Can't wait for BC versus Syracuse this year.
Oh God.
Maybe the Paul.
Who do you think Paul's rooting for?
Here's Syracuse.
Syracuse.
Okay, I know there's a small chance he might be.
He was not a big Boston College guy. He was
Yeah.
a Florida.
No, I was talking about Bill O'Brien because Bill O'Brien.
Oh,
'Cause I know the call that Paul's talked about the story 1,000 times, but when Bill O'Brien called him personally to like apologize
Yeah.
for something in a press conference, it seemed like they left a big impression on Paul.
All right. So when you're looking at this game today, what are we feeling on the wager since we're here inside a sportsbook? So Texans favored by 2. Number's 46.5.
Lee Sterling on Thursday gave us Vikings +2.
Okay.
So I don't want to bet it because I don't want to have to root for it. So I think if I place a wager, and I probably am because we're here at the beautiful LaBerge Casino and Sportsbook, I think I'm feeling the under right now. You said it was 46.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just talked about last segment. I mean, how great the Vikings defense. If the Texans are going to win, they're going to have to rely on doing what they did last week and having the defense lead them to a win. I don't see a lot of points in this game. I think 46.5 is quite a bit high. I think that's under by 4 or 5 points.
And honestly, they just don't cover.
that too. I mean, one of us, I forgot who it was. It wasn't me, so it was one of you two. Threw out a.
Feels like you're throwing something.
No,
at us.
no. It was just I didn't want to take credit for this awesome take. You threw out this score. You could see it being a 17-10 type.
Oh,
game.
that was me.
That is
Yeah.
a comfortable under.
That is a comfortable
That
under,
is
yeah.
an under you are not sweating at all. So, I mean, if that's how we all view the game, that probably should be. That's definitely what we feel best about as far as action on this game.
Yeah.
As a side, I mean, on Galon George, we talked a lot about we can't bet on the Texans until they actually cover one of
I
these
did.
spreads.
That's you and Paul.
Oh,
I'm picking the Texans.
yes. I'm sorry. Gallant and I are both Texans need to earn our trust to get a to get a bet on them.
Yeah, I mean, I like the only thing about the under for me that just terrifies me is when you have a quarterback like Sam Darnold. He feels like
He's
you know,
got
we're
pick
all
six
watching
in him.
Exactly. We're all watching college football last night, and like half of us are rooting for like, hey, we kind of need a pick 6 here.
Yeah, we
So,
did.
like,
Yeah,
like,
it
help us out.
felt strange rooting for OU picked the pick 6, but
Yeah.
we needed it.
But like that, this is the kind of like Sam Darnold's the kind of quarterback in the NFL where it's like,
He could see ghosts.
yeah, like he sees a ghost and he throws a pick 6 to Stingley, and that gets you the over. So like, I
Yeah.
really just don't like a lot about this game. I'm probably gonna go Nico Collins anytime touchdown
Ooh, okay.
today is probably what I'm feeling, just because honestly, I might even just like
Stephon Diggs anytime touchdown.
I'm kind of
Revenge game.
Cam Akers.
Yeah,
anytime
revenge game,
touchdown.
baby.
I was kind of thinking like a Nico, Justin Jefferson. I don't even know if you can parlay these. Anytime touchdown, both of them.
That Justin Jefferson thing kind of worries. I mean, obviously Justin Jefferson worries you, but I mean, was it 2 weeks in a row he's had like a 90-yard touchdown? So I mean, that's another thing for like. I feel very good with the under. I think this is at worst like a 23-20 game still under.
Yep.
But Jefferson being able to pop one off for 70, 80 yards or 90 like we saw last week does make you worry a little bit about everything can be going right.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
it's over.
that's the thing where if you bet the under and you lose after the game, you're like, most of the drives were punts and stalled out in the red zone, but there's 4 explosive plays or 3 explosive plays. And
Nico and Jefferson.
Yeah, 2 of them go for the Vikings, 1 of them goes for the Texans, and now you're holding a losing ticket.
Especially with like what happened week 1. Like the way that Anthony Richardson was just like, attacking down the field.
Yeah.
Like, if that's what they're going to try again. Like there are very few quarterbacks that can do that. Like they have that kind of arm. Sam Darnold is more of a lollipop guy. Like on that was a lollipop throw to Justin Jefferson last week, but it got there, and then he just did all the work. And you can't never forget when you talk about this play. The referee, like
the referee.
Man, someone clock him like they clocked Tyreek Hill on a breakaway. I hope they did, because dude was staying with the players downfield.
The Amazon,
even with the back pedal,
the Amazon advanced stats.
Yes. I hope someone did that for that referee.
That's what I need now. Like we're at the point where it's like we know what's going on in the games. Start giving me like advanced analytics on referees.
Put a chip in the referees. I want to see how fast they're going.
I mean, they can't give us a first down. What was the technology they were going to do? Like there was going to be a chip in the ball.
Oh, like TrackMan.
No, like a GPS, right?
Yeah, to tell first downs, but then they decided that they weren't going to do that this year for whatever reason. I don't really understand why. So they kept the chain game alive.
Do you think there's any 20-minute stoppages for injuries to the chain gang this week?
There was 2 last week.
Okay.
There was the one in the Texans game.
Yes.
And then there was one in the Ravens game too, right?
Yeah.
Where
we can ask Matt if we can get that on the board.
Honestly, not to go down the rabbit hole, but if I was a reporter the next time Roger Goodell held a press conference, I mean, don't you have to ask, like, point out the total number in their TV deals? It's like, you make that, but we're still using the chain gang. It's insane that in 2024 this multi-billion dollar company is still using old man holding chains.
That is the key word in this too, because I can't believe that they're so old. Like they're just taking they're taking
like a Walmart greeter and handing him a chain and putting him on the sideline.
Like, I heard a rumor that the reason, like one of the main reasons why they didn't implement the new technology this year was because they couldn't get it to work at Soldier Field. And that like
your Bears are always screwing things up.
So it's an old lady getting in the way of
like
this.
some of like the old stadiums, like they couldn't get the technology to work right, and they weren't going to implement it in some stadiums, but not all the stadiums.
Yeah, no, that's smart. That's smart. Good job by them.
Yeah.
Also, Virginia McCaskey, what are we doing?
Get the new stadium.
So not only did she cost us cussing on Hard Knocks, she's not also having us old men on the sideline with chains.
Do your job, Kevin Warren.
I mean, look, he's got to show you his fancy new chairs or whatever that was.
I know. And then they talked about him for 5 minutes on the Sunday Night Football broadcast. I was like, we don't need to talk about Kevin Warren.
How much were they gassing up Ryan Poles during that thing?
Just like in a passing, like what a good job he's done.
Yeah,
but not a full love fest.
That's good because he could have just taken CJ Stroud.
And some offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Just
I love Roma Dunze, but maybe take a left tackle. Trade up and take a tackle instead of a wide receiver.
I think that's a fair criticism based off what I've seen from the Bears so
think
far.
so too.
Yeah.
What we talking about? 36 and 37 dropbacks pressured.
0 passing touchdowns.
Well, the good news, they could just put a Dunze in the box and block like Tank Dell did. Nothing will go wrong there.
Yeah, we've seen what happens with that one.
Yeah, we'll see what Roma Dunze's dad thinks about that.
That's the other thing with Tank too. I feels like this reverse is just now part of the game plan.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We're 2 for 2. Like it's like, when do we see the reverse in this game?
It's just a part of that San Francisco offense. Like we saw for years. I mean, with McVay, but Woods and Cooks and Cup, they all ran sweeps.
Yeah.
I think this is just a part of the offense.
Yeah.
When they have the weapon to do it.
Over under 2.5 jet sweeps today.
Over.
Okay. 3.5.
No.
I think it's a good number.
Okay.
I think Tank gets 2, Diggs gets 1, and that's the number.
Yeah, because Diggs did one week 1.
Yeah.
Right?
They ran one.
Diggs lined up in the backfield.
I was going to say they ran one.
So did Nico in the last game.
Diggs in the backfield. They jet sweeped Mixon. I think on the first series.
You're right. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So
he was lined up in the slot, and they jet sweeped it and pulled.
I kind of feel like this game, going back to Slowick there and what we were saying earlier about Brian Flores, like this might be like when we start doing the power ranking of hottest coaching candidates this offseason, this game might lead to like number 2 on the list. Because obviously right now, I think maybe above Ben Johnson, it might be Clint Kubiak today of like guys that like Ben Johnson, Clint Kubiak. And then I think it's like
Slowick?
I think Slowick and maybe Flores. Like if Flores dominates Slowick today, I wonder if we're getting
How do you reconcile the thing with Tua, though?
Have a good quarterback.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just
Have a quarterback who doesn't suck. That's what Brian Flores would tell you.
Just everything we've heard, like Tua talking about the situation.
Yeah,
Obviously, the immediate flip once Mike McDaniels came in, it would feel like that's got to be, if you're the owner sitting across from Brian Flores, that's got to be the first question you ask. Like, if I give you a good quarterback, you pick number 1. Like, if you're taking over the team with the first pick of the draft, and we give you the number 1 pick, like,
can you please not tell Shadur Sanders he sucks every day? Can you do that?
Yeah.
I like the fact that this man.
we'll just hire Coach Prime.
There we go. I like the fact that this man sued the NFL for racism, and what we're saying is the first question is, please don't be mean to the quarterback. please just.
It feels like
be normal.
he has to be the head coach of a veteran. Like, just to like prevent the Tua thing from ever happening again. Like you got to put him in a room with
Rogers
or
Dallas Cowboys. Mike McCarthy's out. Brian Flores is in.
He might tell Dak he sucks. I don't know, man.
And Dak will just say, "Well, my paycheck disagrees."
Yeah, right.
I make more money than you. Shut up,
brokey.
All right. Before we go to break here, one of the bigger, injury updates we were looking for today was out of Los Angeles for the Chargers. Justin Herbert is expected to play today. He will be active against the Steelers. He's been dealing with an injury all week, but he will play this weekend. Not that he's been very good so far.
I've already told this to Sean. I am so looking forward to that game. There's never going to be more rush attempts in a game, in any game in NFL history. They are going to establish the hell out of that run. That is going to be amazing.
All right, it's the Bullpen here, broadcasting live from ESPN Bet inside LeBurge Lake Charles.
Broadcasting live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios, it's the Bullpen on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Joe George, Sean Mapes here with you on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5, broadcasting live from ESPN Bet inside LeBurge Lake Charles, and joined now by Matt Holland. Matt, how's it going?
We're here, man. Another beautiful Sunday.
How's everything gone the last, I know it's just been, a lot of it's aesthetic, but, all the signs up, you got the cool T-shirts, you got the nice polo there. there's another polo. I'll take one. But it looks pretty good so far.
I might have connections. I'll see what happens.
That was real shameless stuff from Joe George right
I mean,
there.
look.
Hey, I like that shirt.
I wore the shirt already.
I respect the grift. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. And
That's a good word for it.
What's the worst I can say? No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to kick you out.
Like, no, we don't actually like you. So no.
Yeah.
We welcome you back.
Yeah, Joe's like,
endlessly.
I
You're
like
good.
your shoes too. Give me some of those.
That's going to be a problem. Don't do that one. All right, what you got for me?
So week 3,
Mhm.
what's it like? Just like to start here, like what should we expect to start seeing here in the
People-
environment?
People start funneling through around 11 o'clock. Kiosk will be full. People start wagering, doing all their money line parlays and everything else like that. We've already had some of our bigger players start to kind of creep in and stuff like that, getting their plays, getting comfortable early. And then it's just steady traction until noon. Once the game starts, everybody focuses on the TV. It's a good crowd, lots of fun. Got 6 games on the big screen today. Got 4 other large 80-inch TVs that are going to be broadcasting all the different games. We'll throw the Astros up there and stuff like that as well. And then from about 12 to 2 o'clock, or at least until the first half, everybody's just watching the games, enjoying the environment and everything else like that. And then at 3 o'clock, we reset, rotate, same process, and then just carries through the night.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm looking forward to seeing it was fun last night here with college football. We had 4 games on last night, but having 6 games up here, like you said, we'll have the other games going on right now. What's the crowd typically like here? I mean, is it Texans, Cowboys, Saints, kind of a blend, or
it's all 3? Obviously, the last 2 years we've gotten a lot more Texans traction.
Yeah.
People are loyal to the team, but when they weren't performing as well, people would come in here to watch the games.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say disengaged, but they're here just to watch them. The Saints Texans dynamic is going to be a little bit more interesting this year because Saints being off to a hot start, Texans also being 2-0. It's a nice little blend. And eventually throughout the course of the day, you'll find Texans fans end up kind of gradually pulling for the Saints. Saints fans start pulling for the Texans. They kind of lock in step. The only thing that besides agreeing with each other is if the Cowboys start doing bad, they cheer for that as well. It's just that's the one other universal.
I have to imagine that the environment for specifically a Cowboys game, because a lot of times they are that America's game on Fox, they get probably a bigger spotlight, but it's not all. It's going to be a house divided here in the sports book, where last week I'm sure was a very fun week to be here watching the Cowboys game.
Well, it's also the way the schedule plans out because the Saints playing the Cowboys, that's 2 of the marquee teams for us, at least. And that might not be nationwide, but at least for us, they're playing each other. So they are going to get the audio. That's one less thing that we have to worry about. Texans play a primetime game. That's one less thing we have to worry about there. Everything kind of fell the way it was supposed to. Now, today, we kind of have a different dynamic with the Texans and Saints playing at the same time slot. We do have to make certain, business decisions. And wherever the room is predominantly is where, we'll put the bigger feature. Maybe the Texans will be the bigger game. Right now, I have the Saints being the bigger game just because it's it's a better matchup in my opinion. But if we find that we have more Texans fans than Saints fans, then we'll happily change it. But we do have to make decisions, and we kind of stick with those decisions. That way, everybody can get themselves seated, know what they're watching at all times, and kind of know what to expect.
All right, last question on this stuff before we get into the games today. How annoyed? Because I know from a viewing experience last week, I was annoyed when they put 10 games at noon and 3 games, 4 games at 3 o'clock. That's got to make this even more chaotic when they put such a bad split between the 12 o'clock and the 3 o'clock games for you guys.
It's literally me and my boss's personal hell. Because we try to do as much as we can to appease everybody.
Well, there's 10 games on.
But we have logistical limitations, and most customers are understanding. We try to do what we can to, one, make the casual viewer happy, but we also have players that invest a lot of money in these games. We kind of also have to cater to them as well.
Yeah.
So we try to figure out a situation to make everybody happy. And, 9 times out of 10, we do a good job. And then there's the one time where it's just kind of like, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Well, it's funny. Last night when we were watching college football, there's the 4 games on that everyone kind of like Sean, myself, and Brian all had a little bit of action on. Sean had a couple other games, so he's sitting there with his quad box on YouTube TV.
I know it's hard to ask for a hey, can you put a Cal and FSU on one of these? And I was watching the Ole Miss Georgia Southern game, and I was just like, I am watching this just for myself. I will not be loud in what I'm rooting for because I know no one else cares.
No, you're fine. That's the joy of it. I mean, there's times like somebody goes nuts in here, and I immediately look up like, what did I miss?
Yeah.
There's always a game somewhere. But on the patio, we also have 12 TVs that we're a little bit more, we can be flexible on. So we can, if there's only one group of people outside, like you tell me what games you want, I'll make it happen out there. Cool. It's just whenever it's in the room, logistically it's a little bit more difficult.
So we've been talking about this all week. The Texans, obviously, last year was a great year. This year, good start, 2-0, but they're struggling to cover. Like they seem like they might be one of those teams that wins a lot of football games, but doesn't win games against the spread. When you see a number at 2, I mean that feels like a really challenging game to figure out how to play. A 2-point spread against two 2-0 teams.
So last year, if you were a Texans better and you got on them early, you did well because as the season goes on, more information is gathered, power ratings become different. You get sharper lines. So if you got on the Texans early, you were great. This year, a lot of people are already on the Texans. So you're just not going to get the better number most of the time. So the Texans are a hard team to figure out in that sense. I mean, I personally think they should have covered last week, but they just couldn't put the Bears away, and the defense did everything possible. Just like the offense became a little bit stagnant. Do I expect that to be a week-to-week thing? Not necessarily. Also, I think there's a dynamic to playing in prime time. That's the first Texans prime time game in a very long time.
Yeah, 2019. It was.
I think I saw that number, and it adds to it a little bit. I had the Bears just because I was like, I think the Texans are going to win, but it was a big number in a primetime spot. Caleb Williams is not bad. That defense for the Bears is going to get better as well. But I heard y'all talking about it earlier. Why go with Roma Dunze whenever you could just strengthen up that defense in that sense?
Yeah.
Talking about Bears fans. So.
One more thing on the Texans Vikings. We were talking about it in our preview, and we kind of stumbled into. Oh, we actually think this game is going to go under. We all feel pretty good about it being under the 46.5. Is that something that you is that a viewpoint that you also share with this one?
Yeah. I tend to lean towards that as well. I mean, I always come in. On college Saturdays, there's always a lot going on. So whenever I come in, I grab a sheet and just kind of review the numbers, make sure what we're looking at and everything else like that. And I figured with kind of seeing historically lower totals, versus previous seasons, when I saw 46.5, I was like, that feels like that should be in the 42, 43 point range. I don't see the Minnesota Vikings putting up a whole lot of offense, but I mean, they did hold the 49ers to a low number last week, but granted, half of the 49ers roster is out. So I don't know how much validity I take to the Vikings defense, but that felt high to me.
Yeah. Well, I'll ask it this way. For an NFL game, you guys were talking about Iowa football. How low is too low for a number? Because we've got games today. Chargers Steelers is like 35.5 right now. The Packers Titans, because Jordan Love's officially inactive, so it'll be Malik Willis' revenge game against the Titans is 37.5. But it's the NFL. Like, you expect points to be scored. Like, was there a certain point where you're like, okay, like this is too low of a number. Like, I have to engage in something like this and look at it over, even though there's bad teams on the field?
Iowa broke me of that habit last year for both professional and collegiate football. I saw totals in the 20s, and I was like, no, too high, too high.
It can always be lower.
Exactly. And the public is naturally going to gravitate towards the over. So you can't, you kind of got to put the treat out and say, oh, no, but then you look at the final score, you're like 14-10. Well, that makes total sense. Yeah, you have to be realistic, but I don't know if we'll ever see an NFL number in the 20s, but I hope we do. You hope we do, but I'm looking at that Chargers Steelers game, and I'm just like 34.5. No, that I don't see either team getting to 14. Maybe.
Yeah, the Chargers has been weird so far. I mean, Herbert's playing, but like they're running the ball, and like he's not doing a ton. He's not being Justin Herbert anymore.
Well, I don't even think it's so much being Justin Herbert. I think it's Harbaugh being Harbaugh.
Yeah.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And he's just willing to grind people out and tell Herbert, hey, don't make mistakes, and I won't make mistakes. Where I think last year a lot of coaching mishaps happened, and that's why a lot of Chargers fans became really frustrated. It's like, we are blowing these games that we should be winning. And Harbaugh is just kind of like, I'm not going to allow that to happen. I will take every decision out of your hands. Let me call the plays. You do your job. Don't turn the ball over. We'll win.
Before the season started, I don't think we'd be sitting here week 3 looking at a Saints -2.5 against the Eagles.
Did you see the number for the look-ahead number on that?
I see it on the app right here. The Eagles are favored by 2.5.
That's a massive.
That is a
massive
huge swing.
move, and I think once again the prime time thing. You see the Eagles blow that game against the Falcons on prime time. Public perception automatically flips. Like,
Yeah.
the Saints have put up 40
There's
points back
A
to back games.
red down arrow, a
Yes.
green up arrow.
And I think a lot of people, myself, I'm a Bengals fan, but growing up in Louisiana, I followed the Saints my entire life. I think a lot of people, saw the roster and were like, well, they didn't do anything better. The thing that they did better was moving on to a new offensive coordinator, and that becomes addition by subtraction. You have the pieces around. As long as the scheme is good, the Saints offense is clicking. It's going. And I think a lot of people go back and see what the Eagles were doing 2 years ago, and now they see like they kind of hit a brick wall. Also, not having A.J. Brown in this game, it seems like they might be offensively one-dimensional, and then they see the Saints. They're doing everything that they want to do right now. It doesn't surprise me. I didn't expect to see a 5-point move, but I figured maybe one pick 'em realistically. But there's a lot of public hype on the Saints right now.
Any other games stand out for you this weekend, or
the Chiefs Falcons, the Sunday night game? Just because I didn't expect the Falcons to play as good as they did, or maybe the Eagles kind of. I mean, the Saquon Barkley drop changes the dynamic of that game completely. But the Chiefs the Bengals game, that was the Bengals game to lose. And being a Bengals fan, they lost it. I fully expected the pass interference call to happen. It was the right call, blah, blah, blah. But the Chiefs just don't put teams away. And the Falcons getting 3 points at home seems a little enticing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think there's a whole lot of there's always this dialogue around the Chiefs. Are they done? Are they done? Yeah. And I don't know if they're going to get tired of it and just be like, hey, we're just going to go ahead and put up 35 this week. It's going to be weak. Or they're just going to be like, hey, we're fine just winning and just eking out victories.
Yeah, curious how they'll look without Pacheco.
That matters.
Yeah, but I'm still like, maybe I just, because I love college football, like, Samaje Perine, like I kind of still believe. I still kind of want to believe a little bit.
I watched him for years whenever he was on, when he was on the Bengals, but it doesn't seem to matter who the Chiefs put into that offense. As long as you do what Andy Reid says, Mahomes will normally make the right decision and put you in a good spot to succeed.
All right, Matt. Well, I know it's about to start getting crazy in here, so
we're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. We're looking forward to hanging out and watching the 12 o'clock games here, and we'll see you soon. We'll be back in a couple weeks.
All right, sounds great, guys.
It's the Bullpen live from ESPN Bet at LeBurge, Lake Charles.
You're back inside the bullpen with the producers of ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
The Bullpen broadcasting live from ESPN Bet inside LaBerge in Lake Charles. We started placing some wagers this morning ourselves. Just a little parlay together, money line. Go a little Texans, Bears, Buccaneers. So make sure we get a little action on the game today while we're here.
While you guys were talking to Matt, I put one in on the Texans Vikings under. So I put my money where my mouth was on that one from what we talked about earlier in the show.
But we got to talk about the Houston Astros a little bit here as well. So the Houston Astros are still 5 games up in the division. So the magic number is what, down to 4? I think it is.
Did the Mariners lose?
No, they won.
They won.
Then it's 4.
Yeah, so it's 4 right now. But, I mean, the Mariners quietly have, they've played so well that they're now in the wild card race full on. I mean, the Kansas City Royals are the number 2 wild card team right now with 82 wins. The Twins have 81 wins. The Tigers have 81 wins, are just a half game out of the playoffs. And then Seattle has 80 wins. They're a game and a half out. So the Astros actually will have a chance to make sure Seattle doesn't be the team they face in the first round of the playoffs in next week's series.
Yeah.
So, like, if you don't want to see, that excellent playoff rotation, you better win 2 out of 3 games when you play the Mariners coming up here.
I think Sean and I talked about this on Friday night during the listener party. That was exactly my thought on it, because you look at who the Astros could face in the first round. It'd be fun to have the AJ Hinch, return here in the first round in the wild card series, but I don't fear the Tigers. The Astros swept the Royals 4-0 not that long ago. I don't fear the Royals, and I don't fear Seattle. But in a 3-game series, if they could throw Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby at you,
I know
that's
yeah,
like,
it's
I mean,
nasty.
we don't know if the Mariners can score, but that is a little concerning.
Yeah, that feels like a 3 under plays because you get like Fromber versus Castillo and Hunter Brown versus one of those guys, and then Kikuchi, because the one thing that I think was made very, very clear this weekend is you saw in yesterday's game, Ronald Blanco had a very good performance. Again, he goes 6 innings, gave up 7 hits, but he struck out 9 against the Angels, and you say, well, it's the Angels. But the problem is that the day before, Justin Verlander was absolutely terrible while the listener party was going on. I mean, the Astros get this big lead, and all of a sudden people are checking in, and you're starting to hear some kind of like frustration happening with all the listeners and people that were there. JV goes 4 2/3, gave up 6 earned runs, only struck out 4. I think for me, guys, like this conversation, it's over. This is it. That was Justin Verlander's last start as a Houston Astro, unless somebody gets hurt in the playoffs. And your playoff rotation for me in a 5-game series is Fromber, Hunter Brown, Kikuchi, Ronald Blanco, and JV is Coach Verlander on the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree with that. I think basically since he came back from his injury, we've kind of been tracking that. Like, is he? I mean, originally it was is it him and Kikuchi, and then he got bumped down to him or Arrighetti. Now it's Ronel Blanco's pitched pretty well.
Yeah,
I think Blanco's kind of moved Arrighetti out of the conversation.
Yeah, and so it's been kind of reshuffled in that way. And the common theme that I don't see anyone on that talks about the Astros agreeing with, or I don't see anyone that covers the Astros saying that Justin Verlander has any shot at being in the postseason rotation.
I mean, that's what should happen. I mean, I think I keep we know the special relationship Verlander has with the owner, Jim Crane. We know that he's going to be given kind of protected veteran status almost, to steal a term. I do think there's a small chance that they're like, Verlander's the horse that got us here in 2017. He's the horse that got us there. And every year since then, that they might decide to go ahead and go with Justin Verlander. But you look at his game log, he's been back now for, I believe 6 games. 2 of them have been good, quote unquote. But even in those games, like he had 2 games of those 6 where he had 5 innings, 2 earned runs. He's still only 5 innings. There's still a ton of hits. There's still a ton of traffic on the bases where, okay, he finished 5 and gave up 2, but that could have easily been a blow up like we saw in Cincinnati where he gave up 8, or obviously this last game against the Angels where he gave up 6. So
he's got no strikeouts in those okay games. He's not getting any swing and miss.
Yeah, that to me is the biggest thing, is he just can't strike anyone out anymore.
Yeah, the game against it was a game against Arizona where he gave up 0 strikeouts in that game.
Yeah.
Eight earned runs, 0 strikeouts.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember who it was against, but there was the one game earlier this season where he had, it was against the Brewers, where that was and that was before the injury, where it felt like things were starting to go for JV. He had the 18 pitch at bat versus Willie Contreras, and Willie Contreras hit a home run on the 18th pitch.
He kept insisting throwing the fastball.
It's like, okay, he maybe that's
and
one of
you could tell Contreras was on it. He was on it. He was on it, and then he hit it out.
And it's like that's one of the best young catchers in baseball. Like he's a power hitter. He's an all-star, in the National League. But there's never any belief that Justin Verlander would have to struggle that much against any guy in baseball. I mean, not even a Mike Trout level player he would struggle that much against. So it felt like the writing started to be on the wall then. Yeah, I could see a world in which in an ALDS, Justin Verlander gets the ball in Game 4 because Jim Crane demands it, and then Astros
they might try to play the card.
Should protest.
Yeah, no, that'd be insane. That would just be insane at that point. If like B-Mac was saying, he's the horse that took us that we rode in 2017. It's like, all right, then start Marvin Gonzalez in left field. He was.
Clear, I'm not backing that mindset, but
Brian McCann's not doing anything. Evan Gaddis isn't doing anything. Bring these guys back if we're running the 2017 crew out there. No, it's 2024. You have to go with the best 2024 option that you have, and it's not Justin Verlander.
Yeah. Where do you guys do you think he's? Because we've seen him. It's not. I mean, the velocity's dropped obviously from his younger days. He's not hitting 99 anymore. But it's not like the velocity's dropped off to a point where it's Christian Javier throwing 91-mile-an-hour fastballs. I don't even know what to make of why he's broken down so much other than command. We saw in that Cincinnati start where he walked 3 guys in the first inning, walked the bases loaded. And even when he's getting the gas up there at 94, 96, it seems like he misses high a ton. To get it up there, he's just completely losing his command.
Yeah, I think for JV to be successful at this point, he would need a really favorable umpire.
Just slip him a 20 before the set
and he might need someone more like Maldi to be successful if he was going to try to pitch. I think having someone like Yiner behind the plate who's not great at framing pitches, and then JV who's not getting the swing and miss stuff, his command's not as great. Just for him to work, it just feels like you need this, this, and it's a weird situation. It is a weird situation to be in for the Astros. It's single-handedly one of the greatest trades in the history of this city. I mean, I don't know what you really put in front of it still, because it's the only thing that's resulted in championships. Clyde got you 1.
I mean, Jordan
got you 1. But JV got
for
you
now.
2. I know. So for now, right? Eventually CJ Stroud we think will pass that trade, or the move up for Will Anderson. Everything will move past this deal.
The Kikuchi trade.
The Kikuchi trade will have to get a World Series this year.
At least one.
At least one this year. But JV, I mean, he won 2 World Series, and he won a Cy Young when he was here.
And hard. No one you gave up for that trade did anything that you would even worry about.
Yeah, there's the one guy on the A's now.
Daz Cameron.
Yeah, that's it.
It was just a pain in the ass, basically, the last time they played. Made some great plays, but that's pretty much it. But yeah, I think it's the end.
Do you think there's a number where they bring back Verlander next year?
I hope not.
I mean, how low would that number have to be? 10? Is there a number? Or do you just not want him in the rotation
$7.75 an hour is what Joe's saying.
Minimum pay him.
Okay. There is a number, but the number starts with where is Alex Bregman? If Alex Bregman and Kikuchi are Houston Astros, then they can pay Justin Verlander whatever they want. But if you lose Alex Bregman to the Brewers or the Cubs or something like that, because he got $35 million a year for 3 years each. Do you pay JV $10 million? Well, couldn't that $10 million go to Bregman? I feel like you have to take care of Bregman and Kikuchi first before you can even think about JV. So maybe it's $5 million for JV. Maybe
veteran prove it deal. I actually don't know how much Zach Greinke made last year on the Royals as kind of a farewell tour, season-long farewell tour, but something like that, where it's a number that denotes that you are not. I mean, again, he's probably not going to pitch in the postseason. It's a number that says, hey, if we make the postseason next year, you're also not pitching the postseason then either.
I think he goes home. I think he finishes his career in Detroit with AJ. I think that's where Verlander pitches last season.
It's tough for Verlander because I mean, obviously, this may be taken out of his hands, but
Yeah.
if he continues to decline like he's declined, but we all know what he's chasing, and you can't chase that on any team. Like if he wants to be the last guy ever to get to 300 wins, and he's got, I think he needs around 40.
I was gonna say he
needs
Oh no, that's gonna be tough.
five more years.
I know. Look, it's like I said, it may be taken out of his hands, but if that he's talked about it openly, this is no secret that he wants to be the last guy to get to 300.
Even when he was good,
Now,
I remember being like, that is such a stretch goal for him.
The Tigers, I mean, we've talked about it. They are on the rebound, so maybe they are a team that he could chase that goal with, but it limits his market, and obviously his performance limits his market even more. So it's a narrow path he's trying to walk where maybe only bad teams would take him, but the bad teams are going to give him the chance to get to 300.
Yeah, I think if I was Justin Verlander, I would say, okay, who has dealt with just as many injury issues as the Astros that could use me and is going to win over 110 baseball games? Dodgers.
They're already used to it with Kershaw. They do that every year with Kershaw.
Yeah, like
he only plays half a season.
Yeah, but like because even with let's say things go okay for not Lance, but for Luis Garcia, you still start next year with Fromber, Hunter Brown. I think they're going to bring back Kikuchi. You have Luis Garcia,
Blanco.
You have Blanco. You have Arrighetti. Like you have 6 guys right there, and then you have Lance, like the kind of mystery of McCullers
throwing program this weekend.
Yeah. Hopefully his arm doesn't fall off. And then you do have the chance that you could see Urquidy or Javier make an appearance in September,
maybe August.
I feel like next year Urquidy and Javier are going to be this year's McCullers and Garcia, where we're penciling him in for July, and then we keep pushing it back until they're not back.
Urquidy's weird because, well, that's it.
Yeah, this is last year of his deal.
Yeah, so I wonder if they try to maybe squeeze a little juice out of the Urquidy thing, and Javier you wait till 2026, which makes me sad because I love Christian Javier.
Yeah,
it's the Bullpen live from ESPN Bet at LaBerge Lake Charles. We'll get back into some of the NFL action and talk to some Texans next year on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
You're back inside the bullpen with the producers of ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
The Bullpen live from ESPN back inside LaBerge, Lake Charles on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. We are live on Twitch, twitch.tv/ESPN 975, and of course on YouTube at ESPN Houston. Hanging out with you till 12 o'clock today. You guys believe in Cam Akers enough for today?
That's a good way to frame it. I believe in Cam. I think yes. I believe in Cam Akers enough for today.
For today,
I think that's the proper amount of qualifiers on it. If he said believe in Cam Akers, I probably lean no. But for today, to be enough, I think Cam Akers is just good enough to make that happen. That's my alarm going off. I'm sorry.
Very
Sean, it's
professional,
11
very
o'clock.
professional.
What's your alarm for?
That's normally for fantasy football.
Okay,
Oh,
I was
okay.
going to say, Sean, the show started at 10. The alarm at 11 would be an interesting call.
I barely made it. Barely made it.
Obviously, this is not nothing to do with the property itself, but the last person to use the room that I was in, bad person.
Oh,
Why?
They left the alarm for 5:30 in the morning,
Oof.
and I didn't.
wait,
have,
there's still like an old school
Yes,
digital
yeah,
alarm in
yes,
there? Is
yes.
there really?
And I didn't have I couldn't find my glasses, and it's 5:30 in the morning, and I was a little tipsy still. It felt like, or I was just so tired I couldn't figure out how to turn it off. I just unplugged it. I literally was like trying to turn it off this morning. I was like, I don't know how to turn this alarm off. I didn't set it. It's 5:30 in the morning. I just reached back there and just yanked it out of the wall.
Solution-oriented thinking.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, I think you guys got a different room tonight because mine didn't even have one of those digital clocks.
Oh, it didn't.
No, but there's definitely. Oh, I don't want to get into it, but there's definitely two types of rooms.
Oh,
here,
yeah,
depending on the state of the
Well,
progress
yeah,
of
yeah,
the
'cause-
renovations.
Yeah, we got the luxury rooms, and
which I had last time.
they gave you
This-
whatever they had.
This
Yeah.
time I got the Baylor -3.5.
So, do you believe in Cam Akers?
I think Sean's answer is the right one. I believe in him today.
Enough for
Yeah,
today.
enough for today. Because look, this is a guy coming off two Achilles surgeries, two Achilles injuries. I think he's a ticking time bomb. I don't think this lasts for long. But he looked pretty good during the preseason, and we took that with a grain of salt because it's the preseason. But he looked pretty good in the Bears game until he fumbled at the goal line, which would have put the game away for the Texans. So obviously, hopefully, two hands on the ball, Cam. But other than that, I think he could get the job done. If there's yardage to be gained, because the Vikings' run defense is great. But I believe if the Texans' offensive line blocks it up well enough, he can get 90% of the yards that Joe Mixon would have gotten.
Yeah, I think he can have a good day today. I mean, he's a solid back. That's what's funny though. Like you said, two hands on the ball. I'm like, I feel like he did when he fumbled. Like it was like. I feel like it was like chaos. And
Okay, maybe he needs to be the guy from Street Fighter with four arms.
There's like hug it tight.
Yeah.
Man. It's like just make sure it's in there nice and
Press
squeezed.
the RB button, protect the ball.
Yes.
Do
Shoot
that as
clock.
much as possible. This is a game where I think the expectation, while the Vikings are better than we thought they were, it is, we didn't talk to Matt about this. I still it's still hard to know what's real and what's not. Like Minnesota, New Orleans, these teams, it's like I just they're 2-0 and they're having success, but I can't get my preseason thoughts out of it. I'm not ready to buy in just yet. Just like I'm not buying in that the Texans offense is going to struggle this much as we've seen through 2 weeks. I just don't get it. But Minnesota, the expectation for the Texans should be to win by way more than 2 points. I know that's what the line says, but my expectation is still they win this game by a touchdown.
It does say something that they're only favored by 2, based off of, like you said, preseason expectations. I think it's just the defense and Justin Jefferson, because there was a lot of worry about that in the fantasy community. Like, oh my God, Justin Jefferson, he's going to be stuck with Sam Darnold. He's going to be stuck with a rookie quarterback that I don't think a lot of people thought highly of because Michigan never threw the ball. But they've proven. Jefferson's obviously hit the big plays in back-to-back weeks. Sam Darnold is, I think, the only quarterback in the NFL with two touchdown games so far this year. And the defense has been elite, especially against the run, and the Texans are down against a couple running backs. So we got to throw the preseason preconceived notions out the window. Both these teams are different than what we thought of going into the season.
Yeah, I was telling Brian, we were talking about last night. We were talking about fantasy football a little bit, and we're in a dynasty league together. We have 2 quarterbacks. I traded for Anthony Richardson 2 weeks ago before the season started. And I'm not playing him this week because I feel like I have to play Derek Carr.
Baby Coobs, man, he's a revelation.
Yeah, I feel like I have to play him, and I'm choosing to play Jaden Daniels in his matchup mainly because the Bear thing is a bad matchup for Richardson. but like I'm like willingly starting Derek Carr in fantasy football is not something I thought I'd be doing in 2024.
Making a waiver wire a decision of, do I want Baker Mayfield or no, do I want Sam Darnold or Derek Carr? That's where we're at, where I'm like, let me look at their schedule, see what's coming up, because I might start one of these fools.
Yeah.
And that I feel like week 3 and at the latest week 4 is when you have to not completely throw away your preconceived notions of what these teams were heading into the season, but you definitely need to start weighing what you've actually seen the first 2 or 3 games more than what you thought coming in. I think even last
Even
week,
for guys like Sam Darnold?
I think a little bit, at least a little bit. He's not seeing ghost out there anymore. Like, he is at least a competent quarterback. He doesn't have to be top 4, top 5 and all the passing stats that he's top 4 and top 5. You don't have to view him as a top 5 quarterback, but just as hey, this guy might actually be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to like not watch what he's done through 2 weeks and just be like, as like they show pictures of Justin Fields up there for a second, be like, well, he's better than him. He's probably better than Richardson. He's been better than Bo Nix. He's been better than all the rookies. So it's like you kind of have to buy in.
Yeah, not a single rookie's thrown a touchdown pass.
Yeah, which is crazy. That's got to change today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry if it doesn't change.
Yeah.
For at least one of the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think Bo Nix gets it done.
A Bears quarterback is never getting to 4,000 yards in
No,
our lifetime.
no.
It's not happening.
I pretty
It's
much
not
at this
happening.
point, like
I
I'm
thought
just like
Caleb was the chosen one.
I'm pretty much gonna like place like a large wager on that, like on my dying bed for my son. Be like, hey, as soon as I die, it's gonna happen. Like,
if it happens in your lifetime, will you get a tattoo to commemorate it?
no.
No, no. Just
It's got to be the yardage. It's got to be like 41-28.
4102.
Yeah.
on the bicep.
Instead of
4102.
like in like in Endgame when Tony Stark says to his daughter, "I love you 3000."
Yeah. I love you 4102.
I love you greater than 3,999.
That I might get. My wife she might kill me. Might
She's
be,
not here right now. She
no,
doesn't know.
she's hiding right now.
It's
I
a
think-
safe place.
and she's hopefully winning money in the slot machine. But yeah, this is going to be a fun weekend. Like, it's going to be not the best game. So like this weekend, this matchup, I think Texas Vikings
Eagles Saints is looking pretty spicy. I'm looking forward to that.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting one. I think I'm leaning Saints.
I'm leading the over. That's the wager I placed.
Was it like 49.5?
49. I
Okay.
think it's 49 even.
Yeah, some of these numbers are jarring. Like when you see them, like there's so many 30s right now. It just shows you how bad the NFL is through 2 weeks. Like,
there's. I mean, we talked about it earlier, but Steelers Chargers, when we came in this morning, I believe when the paper Sean has was 34.5.
yeah, I'm looking at 35.5 now. So I guess
Maybe it's gone back. Oh, because
So,
Herbert news.
Justin Herbert's worth a point.
Oh, because he's going to throw it 17 times.
That's actually not. Yeah, that's not good news for Herbert.
Yeah.
If he's only worth a point.
Well, they're keeping all 3 quarterbacks active. So that also to me means like that they're not totally sure that he's going to make it. through
One
this game.
TJ Watt hit, and we might see Easton Stick.
Yeah. Is that who their backup
Yeah.
is?
Yeah,
Still?
yeah, Easton Stick.
God.
It's still Easton Stick. Look out, Chargers.
I didn't realize.
J.K. Dobbins is going to be running Wildcat.
I didn't realize he was
I
even in
might
the
bet the
NFL.
Steelers.
I have Steelers money line. I do have that bet.
Anything else on the Texans here before we do another interview real quick for today's game? That things that stick out.
It's just the pass rush. To me, that's I think that's what the game comes down to.
Yeah.
If the Texans can do to the Vikings what they did to Caleb Williams and the Bears offensive line, I think they win the game. And it's going to be sloppy. We're probably going to spend time tomorrow on all our shows on ESPN 97.5 talking about what's wrong with the Texans offense. They didn't cover, blah, blah, blah. But I think they walk away with a win because the defense dominates, specifically Will Hunter or Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson.
Yeah, I think.
Combo.
Yeah, I like
Will
that.
Hunter.
Yeah, Will Hunter, yes.
Will Hunter. Damn near killed her. I think that's a good overview kind of big picture thing. I was thinking more granular, more in the details, where
That's where you live.
Yes. How many false starts are we getting with Laramie
Oh
Tunsil?
my God! With the skull chance,
Skull, it's a great environment.
I'm
They're going to
gonna
be
say-
juiced.
over under 2.5.
I'm going to take the over.
I'll take the under. I believe in you, Laramie.
I think we forgot. I don't remember if we wrote down. Oh yeah, I remember them though. So we started for our picks on Friday. We added a new twist. We're picking what possession Laramie Tunsil jumps off sides. So I think
second possession.
I think I said first possession. Paul said second possession. Sean, you said first possession of the second half.
Yes, first possession, third quarter.
Like I think it's gonna be our new game of just like when does he jump? Because you know it's gonna happen.
He's gonna jump.
All right, it is the Bullpen broadcasting live from inside ESPN Bet LaBerge, Lake Charles here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
You're listening to the Bullpen on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Joe George, Brian McDonald, broadcasting live from inside ESPN Bet at LaBerge in Lake Charles. Starting to fill up here, starting to see people making their wagers and get ready for the action coming up here at 12 o'clock. And right now we're joined by Courtney Stone, multi-outlet food and beverage manager here. And how's it going?
It's going great. It's a busy crowd. Like, we're excited. Ever since we, announced ourselves as ESPN Bet, like it's been really cool. The interaction has been great.
How's it been so far this weekend from the opening on Friday?
The grand opening, we had the mayor come. We did the whole ribbon cutting. We had food and beverage specials. It was a great event. It was a good crowd. We have a barbecue tailgate happening all weekend, just like an endless buffet of barbecue food. So it's been a really good interactive, fun event going on.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Talk about the buffet a little bit. Like, what can we expect? How does that work? Or you can just sign up when you walk in?
So anybody can get it. And
Cool.
It's $50. It's endless. It's from 11 to close. And obviously, if we have leftovers, we're going to go until we have all of it sold. But it's anything you can think of, like barbecue, mac and cheese, brisket, pork, anything that you can think with barbecue and fan food, just that's what you're going to get.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You had me at barbecue mac and cheese.
Right.
I think that's in my future day while watching the Texans game. I had some great wings here yesterday. I know you got other food specials to talk about. What else can they get out here at LaBerge?
So Monday through Thursday, we have kind of like our own little happy hour. So Monday and Thursday, we have $3 draft beers. We have 22 draft beers on tap. And then $20 all-you-can-eat wings, and then you can get refills for free as well. So, we have a lot going on that's catering to pretty much any fan base that you can get. Yeah.
So what's your go-to for the wings? So I went with the new hot honey sriracha.
I did
Yes.
the Asian. I can't remember. It was Asian something, but it
Yeah.
was fantastic. That was what the waiter recommended
Phuket.
to me.
Yeah.
It was great.
It's so mine hot honey. Hot honey. Yeah. So good.
We tried
So-
those because Chef Lau, it was before the new menu came out the
Yes.
last time we were
Mhm.
here. So when Sean and I were here, he brought out a bunch of the new stuff, the Burger Tower, and everything. So we got like to try like the full like kind of big
The
sampler.
whole experience. You got the whole fan base experience.
Yeah, it was cool because like, and then he had the wings then, and like I was telling my wife who's here, and I was like, hey, when I like that's #1 go-to item. When I
Chef
get
Lau
back.
is a beast.
Oh, yeah.
Anything he does is amazing. He added new appetizers. He did fried pickles, crackling, Cajun corn ribs, which I didn't know was a thing until he came along. So it's really good bar food, fan food combined. So you're really never watching the game not hungry. You're fed.
Have you tried the Death Burger?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because
Absolutely.
I did, yeah.
You did. I remember,
yeah.
yeah. We fair warned you, and I think you definitely felt the death.
I did. I powered through it. I finished
You
the burger.
did.
I did all right. The drive home was a little
Rough.
2 hours to Houston was not as fun as I would like to be. But Joe mentioned the burger towers. Tell us more about that. Like, that seems like because obviously at a casino, a lot of this is show, and you bring out the burger tower. That's got to be really impressive.
Everyone looks. The second you walk out the door, everybody looks. They're like, "What is that?" And we have the ground ribeye sliders. We have catfish. You have hot honey chicken sliders. It truly is a tower wrapped around a bed of fries. I mean, I don't know how you get better than that.
What kind of drink specials do you guys have during the week? You said
so. Drink specials. It's $3 draft beer Monday through Thursday. We also have half off beer towers and half off beer as well. So everything you can find online, we have it on every TV. I'm sure we're going to rotate it eventually, but the $3 draft beer is just doing so well. Dos Equis, Michelob, Coors, Miller, all of the good. Anything that you can think of, we have on that.
How does the beer tower work? Because every place is a little bit different. Like, is there only certain beers you can do for the beer tower?
You can do whatever beer you want. If you want to do mimosas, we're going to cater to you. If you want a Bloody, Mary tower, which actually has happened on Sundays, and we'll get bacon and all the good stuff with it. Anything they want, we'll make sure that they can get.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you guys have a lot going on NFL Sundays, college football Saturdays, and all the gambling that goes around it. But you guys also host bachelor parties, fantasy football events. What do you guys do for that?
So fantasy football was a huge hit. We had about 20, and it varied from about 15 to 20 people. I had one that had about 30 people on the patio.
Wow.
It went very, very good.
30 people.
Yes, it was on the patio. It was huge. They had their own trophy. That meant business. We cater to whatever they need. So we'll get them a special menu. They tell us what we want. We make it happen. They have a minimum, food and beverage spend, obviously. And ever since everyone has seen that we're ESPN Bet, I've had people be like, "Hey, you're ESPN. Can we do our bachelor party here?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, you can." So it's been going really great.
I mean, you guys have everything you need for that. I mean, you've got the sports book, you've got golf,
you got the
you've
TVs,
got the TVs, you got the pool, like all of it. Like,
you got everything. I mean, I can't think of another place that you'd want to go because everything's here.
Yeah. You guys don't have TVs out by the pool yet, do you?
We have pools around around the bar and of the cabanas.
Okay.
I mean, you get the full experience wherever you go. So. Golf did really, really well for the Bachelor and the fantasy football. We made sure that there was everything available to them that they would want to do.
I mean, it's September, but like it's
Oh, they'll be
season.
at the pool in December.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's why I can't wait to come back later in the year because it was a little hot yesterday. Like we went to the pool, but like I feel like the pool felt very relaxing, but like it was very, very warm yesterday outside, which like we're used to, but like I was like.
It's a little humid.
Yeah, I was like, I'm looking forward to come back when like it's about 10 degrees cooler than it was yesterday. But February will be here like before you know it. I mean,
and the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Yes.
So like, are you guys already thinking about?
Yes,
what
we
you're
are.
Gonna be doing?
So we do very big Super Bowl parties. So we will rent out every table. We will add tables. We will, make sure there's swag on the table. Everything that makes the experience like the true experience for a fan, we definitely give it to them. We definitely want to go bigger with it being ESPN, so I think that it's a very big accomplishment for us to say that, we're partners. That's just, it's huge for us.
Is that then something where it's probably not a first come, first serve kind of
so
day?
That would be something you would have to reserve for.
Okay.
We definitely get everything out in advance. They will have an email. They'll have everything at their hands to reserve a table. We communicate where they will be at, everything that they could possibly need or ask. We make sure that we give them those answers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the atmosphere here last night, even though I was on the wrong side of it for the Baylor game, was amazing. And people always talk about the atmosphere for the first couple of days of the March Madness, but we got the Saints on TV today. The Texans, just a 2-hour drive from Houston, on TV today.
Yeah.
LSU played yesterday. What's the best atmosphere of the sports book when a certain team is on TV to you?
Oh gosh, for me, so
I know you're wearing a Steelers jersey.
I know, and so I'm always going to default to Kansas City Chiefs just because I'm from there. But Saints,
you lost me. You're wearing a Steelers jersey.
I celebrate both. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You're a fan. You're a fan of the people. You know.
Okay.
So LSU and Saints are huge. Texans are huge for us. I mean, anyone that has made a name for themselves, you get an amazing crowd. Any team, they're all great. They're here to have a good time. So I mean, I can't ask for any more. They're
Yeah.
great people.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun day, and like it should be a lot of good stuff. Anything we missed, or I think we covered everything.
No, we're excited. I know
Yeah.
that we definitely have more coming. We're very big into keeping up with the times and the people. So I
Yeah.
I see a lot more ahead as far as events and things like that.
All right, she is
Yeah.
Courtney Stone. Thank you so much for joining us. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you,
Thank
Courtney.
It
No
is the
problem.
Bullpen live here on ESPN 97.5. We'll take a time out here, broadcasting live from ESPN Bet, LaBerge Lake Charles.
You're back inside the Bullpen with the producers of ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
I know it's terrible.
Look at the back of the football card, Brian.
Look at the back of the football card. Sean just said, other your headphones on when you said that, but
Nope. You're unprofessional, not me.
Your alarm's turned off.
Yes.
So Sean, you got your break for the show.
Yes.
So, did you make any wagers?
I did. Let's see. Let me pull it out because there's just so much.
Dude.
Phrasing,
What?
Sean.
No, you said whip it out and show me, and here I am, right here in beautiful Lake Charles. So I'm on the under in the Texans Vikings game.
All right,
I think
so we're riding
Yes.
together there.
I have a gross Chargers money line that I'm holding
Chargers
on to.
money line. Okay,
Yes.
we're opposite there. I have Steelers money line.
And then I have maybe an even grosser. And I just realized that this game is not in the early slate. So this is one I'll have to come back next week to cash when this one wins. Panthers plus 5.5.
Oh, that is super
Oh,
gross.
my
That is. You know what? It's actually better that you're not here to watch it.
I realize that too. I'm not even going to watch this game.
No, you're gonna be driving home while Andy Dalton does whatever Andy Dalton does.
Yeah, maybe I'll pull up.
That is super gross. Though I am glad to hear that you bet on Hard Dog and Giro.
I did.
Man,
I did.
Okay,
How can I not?
All right, let me paint a picture. I want to see what you're going to do here.
Okay.
So the Texans game goes a little long. It's like it's like 3:30
Overtime?
It's just like 3:30.
Okay, last stop.
I don't want overtime because we got an under bet here.
Panthers are already up 2 touchdowns. Are you going to get in your car, or are you just going to be sticking it out?
I'm out of here. Andy's got this. If they're up 2 touchdowns, I'm up 19.5.
Katie's finest. We trust.
Yeah.
Oh man, I cannot believe you're doing that.
Who upgraded more at quarterback this week? the Panthers.
Well, considering Justin Herbert starting over Easton Stick, I guess it's not an upgrade.
Well, it's not
Yeah,
an
he
upgrade.
started last week.
Yeah, but we thought he was starting.
I got money on him too.
What's the worst game this weekend? It's got to be Malik Willis revenge game versus Will Levis. Packers,
Malik
Titans.
Willis versus Will Levis will make people not like football. I have a feeling.
I'm going to double down on what I said last week. I think that game's must-watch television
Because of the buffoonery.
I want to see what Will Levis does. What does Will Levis have in his bag this week to top what he's done the last 2 weeks?
I wish there was a prop for mind-melting, terrible interception by Will Levis.
Now, I mean, there are some places, Sean. You might speak for one that does this, but there are places that will let you bet on over half interception for quarterbacks, and I have done so in other places that you don't speak for.
His might be 1.5, but no, I went specifically like not top 10 worthy.
Okay.
Interception.
Also, a moment where he's down on his knees
because it wasn't a pick last week.
It was a fumble.
It was a fumble because he lateraled it backwards.
Okay.
So it's not always.
That's true. Last week it was Bo Nix and I forget and Bryce Young. I bet on to throw an interception. And they did so.
Another gross one. Giants Browns.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I had Browns. I had Browns money line as a part of like a 14 parlay, but that's gonna be a gross game.
It's a giant brown of a game. I tell you what.
Oh God, Deshaun Watson versus Vanilla Vic. It's gonna be a classic.
I love this quote that I just see on television right now. They're talking about Taysom Hill being out today with bruised lung, which I didn't like. With bruised lung sounds very weird. This is apparently the quote from Dennis Allen. There is no one person who can replace Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
How can one person do that?
How is he still using? How are they still using him as a running back? I just don't quite understand.
Yeah, I thought that would all kind of come to an end when Sean Payton left.
Yeah.
But
no, the love affair's still there. Like, find someone in life that loves you
as much as
the Saints organization.
Is that like
loves
an
Taysom
ownership
Hill.
thing that like when they interview Clint Kubiak, they're
I was gonna say,
like Clint, like I know you're excited, but like Taysom Hill, we expect him to have
This is
X amount of-
non-negotiable.
yes, there has to be somewhere in his contract where it's like this season. For you to get your full money, Taysom Hill has to have over 45 touches this season. Doesn't care. We don't care how it comes. You can start him at quarterback for 1 week to get it all over with, but we need Taysom on the hill or on the hill. We need Taysom on the field.
Die on that hill.
We will die on
right?
that hill.
Yeah.
Not to throw this guys at you too much last second, but we do know that since 2015, 0-2 teams have an 11 or less than 11%, or 11% of teams have made the playoffs that started 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, who are you guys looking at right now that's 0-2 that like, you think is still, set up well for the playoffs? The Ravens, probably the only one that I see. The Rams. Like, do you think the Rams are a playoff team?
I think they're just too hurt.
Yeah.
I think not only is it's both their receivers, and both their receivers for multiple weeks are
they're out like 5-6 weeks each.
Yeah, so to me, it's either one of the AFC North teams.
That's
It's Bengals, Ravens. Which one you believe a little bit more in? I'm gonna go with Ravens, although it's pretty close. It's mostly just because Joe Burrow just hasn't looked like Joe Burrow so far this year, and Lamar Jackson. Even though they've lost these games, he has played pretty well.
I think I lean Bengals because I don't. You gave the odds on teams who start 0-2. So you look at these teams, and obviously the odds go way down if you start 0-3. Bengals get to play the Commanders, whereas obviously the Ravens have to go road on the Cowboys. I do think the Ravens are a better team than the Bengals, but who's more likely to win this weekend is clearly the Bengals. So I think they're more likely to get 1-2. So I'll go ahead and take the Bengals.
Yeah, I kind of.
But there's really no one else. It's Ravens, Bengals, check out.
Yeah, I lean Bengals just because, like they said, T. Higgins 100% good to go this week. So, like, at least they get him back.
They played well last week.
Yeah.
They didn't win, but they played well last week.
Both teams have valiant losses to the Chiefs.
It still just feels like it's the Chiefs' world, and we're all just living in it.
I mean,
like
until proven otherwise.
Yeah, they already beat the two contenders, like the two biggest contenders you would think headed into the season, other than the Texans, and obviously they play them later in the year. But
yeah, it's funny. Like thinking, like it's just so much. We spent so much time this offseason talking about the Texans' schedule, And it's like you never would have said that today's game would look as challenging, as daunting as it does.
Mm-hmm.
But then now you look at that 3 games in 11 days, and it might be Skylar Thompson to start off for the Dolphins. It could be Ryan Tannehill at that point.
Tyler Huntley.
It could be Bryce Young.
Pro
by that
Bowler
point.
Tyler Huntley.
Snoop Huntley also. It's in his official name now.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Is this a Robbie Chosen thing?
I think I think it's like Snoop is like his name
He
now.
changed his name legally.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like that game's less daunting. Well, then you play the Chiefs, but then you play the Ravens on Christmas, and it's like, well, if they start 0-3 today,
They might be done.
they might still be a tough out, but like it's just that game might.
They might be making business decisions with guys who aren't 100%.
Yeah, like if Lamar is dinged up, like
Right.
you're not playing Lamar,
If Mark Andrews is dinged up,
Yeah.
which he obviously has been.
which also like he might just be done. Like at least
He was fine last week.
Yeah.
See, I actually made a bet with Jeremy on that because he thought Isaiah Likely was going to completely take over the Ravens' tight end position. But the Chiefs have done this basically every time they face the Ravens. They bracket Mark Andrews. They completely take it away. We saw it last week with the Ravens. Once you take away that Steve Spagnuolo defense, he's fine. He's the target alpha in that offense still.
any other games this weekend that are standing out to you right now? I mean, we didn't really touch on the Saints Cowboys. We did a little bit, but do you guys both taking the Saints?
I just took the
Well,
over.
my only pick-
Saints Eagles.
I'm
Yeah.
taking the over. I didn't take a side on that one.
The way the line, we talked with Matt, the way the line has swung, that's what scared me the most. Of who knows what, has it swung too far now? And so I knew whichever way I was going to bet that game, and I thought about both when I was standing at the kiosk. I was like, no matter what I choose, that's the sucker bet. So I'm just going to walk away
Yeah.
and instead put money on the Panthers.
I think there's some value in betting with the Bucks. I think people stay away because in their mind it's still the Bucks, it's still Baker Mayfield. But as we talked about earlier, Sean, like once you get to week 3, week 4, you got to kind of let go of those preseason thoughts, especially since the Bucks were a playoff team last year who went on the road and won a playoff game. They're 2-0. They're at home. They're facing a bad Broncos team with a rookie quarterback who hasn't played well.
Yeah.
I mean, -6.5. I that was a little spicy for me, but I do think they cover that. I just took the money line as part of a parlay, but I think there's some value there with the Bucks.
Yeah, the Bucks is a funny one because it's not even just like the preseason, even though like you said they made the playoffs, like preconceived notion. It's just
Well, Dave Canales is gone. Now the offense is going to fall
but
apart.
it's
They're fine.
It's just Baker.
Yeah, it's like
just like-
the 5-year history we have with Baker Mayfield.
Like people don't want to believe and Sam Darnold, like if this is like a career resurgence for him, like people will not believe in these guys that were bust. Because for how long, when's the last time, like I was trying to think of this the other day. I know Ryan Russillo talks about it a lot, but like on his podcast, like when you see a bust end up in a different situation and have success, like that's not a thing that happens. It's more like you brought up Trubisky earlier, like guys who, they go somewhere else, but they don't ever succeed. For Baker to be on his 4th team and to have success feels impossible. Sam Darnold, same thing, where it's like I would never bet on, Mac Jones or any of these guys to have success again.
Justin Fields could be 3-0 after today. What are you talking about?
I mean, look, he's got more touchdown passes than Caleb Williams. So
I am interested to see Joe's demeanor. If the Bears lose today and Justin Fields goes 3-0, we need a live check-in on Mr. Joe George.
yeah, well, I'll put it this way:
A welfare check.
I'm a straight up nobody on Instagram and TikTok, and my rant TikTok I made about Shane Waldron being a little B.
He's not a good offense coordinator.
Did you see the video?
No, I didn't. But
Oh.
I remember there was just a quick aside. There was someone that asked. I believe it was JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba. They asked him about about Shane Waldron going to Chicago. He's like, good luck.
He just sat there at first. He didn't know what to say because he was like he clearly was like starting to get his media training because it was at Radio Row. And like they asked him the question and he like just didn't respond. And then finally
he was thinking about all the times they threw the ball to him 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And eventually he said,
He's like,
good luck.
yeah, he was like, can't say that, can't say that, can't say that.
Slow processing is what I learned from JSN that day. Like he just wasn't ready to go. I probably won't be good. I need the Bears to win today.
Yeah,
Colts are not good.
I don't look. I mean, all the best to your Bears when they're not facing the Texans, but Eberflus and Waldron, I think you're in a tough spot there.
No,
with
I
them.
think they'll be making a coach. I'm already thinking that they'll be making a coaching change at the end of the season, no matter what happens. So I think like they're on my list right now. I think Jacksonville is up there for like a coaching change.
They're going 0-3 this week. I mean, going to Buffalo.
And then they play Houston.
Yeah, 0-4. It's. I mean, we've seen this with Doug Peterson before. Obviously, they wins the Super Bowl, and it just kind of trickles down every year after that. There's something about Doug Peterson where they rebounded really quickly because they're coming off Urban Meyer, maybe one of the worst NFL coaches in history. But then they had that temporary bounce back, kind of that dead cat bounce, to use a stock market term. But then all of a sudden, it starts to come back down to where it was.
I mean, they got to be starting to. Not panic. I don't know. Like, would you be panicking if you're Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, you just paid Trevor Lawrence
and he's
200-something million.
And he looks awful. Like it's. I mean, these quarterbacks are. Not a lot of them are living up anywhere close to the hype of their contract. I mean, what have we seen so far? Bad quarterback play from Trevor Lawrence. We've seen mediocre play from Jared Goff. Like Jordan Love's hurt. Like you're just like I know you have to do it.
Yeah,
but the return on your investment is not great so far for these high contracts,
especially with the way the game is being played now, where C.J. Stroud in Week 1 throws for 210 yards, and we're like, wow, great start by C.J. And he was probably like easily top 10 in yards passing after. Like, there's just so many games where you think this quarterback played pretty well, and then you look at the stats and he threw for 180 yards. Where this is where it depends how long this kind of trend of lower passing in the NFL holds, where you kind of ask yourself as a team, like, should we pay a guy $50 million a year if all we're asking him to do is not turn the ball over and throw for 290 yards?
I hear what you guys are saying. Outlaw too deep.
Outlaw.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
you said it, not me.
Outlaw too deep. Mel Kiper was right.
If they actually tried that,
hashtag Mel Kiper.
I don't even know how you would do that.
Like, I think you do what baseball did, where baseball
eliminate the shift.
Like they can't stand that far away.
Exactly. They'd be like, you can only be 11 yards from the line of scrimmage,
and then you can rotate at the snap, but you can't start the snap 20 yards back.
But like, okay, like what does that do? Like they backpedal a little bit less. That's so
Thankfully,
stupid.
NFL's not run by Rob Manfred. I mean, not
or Mel Kiper.
I mean, or Mel Kiper. I know. We don't always love our NFL commissioner. He's done a lot of wacky things, especially with suspensions. But he's not as bad as Rob Manfred. I think we could confidently say that.
All right, we're gonna take a timeout here. We're gonna do Mount Rushmore +1 to wrap up the bullpen today. Always my favorite thing to do when I get to do the show with you guys. That'll be next year. Broadcasting live from ESPN Bet and LeBurge Lake Charles on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Welcome in, Houston, to the best part of your Sunday morning. It is now time for Mount Rushmore Plus One, the award-winning, groundbreaking segment that forever changed the landscape of sports radio. Sean and I think it's our ticket into the Texas Radio Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not even going to have to wait 27 years like some guys.
Right on your heels, John and Lance.
right on your heels. We're going to get in 26 years. Take that, pal. Joe, you are a guest here. Would you like to main event Mapes, always main events? Would you like to lead off, or you want to go second?
Sure, I can go first.
All right.
So today I'm going to call my my Mount Rushmore, the Mel Kiper, Jeremy Branham Mount Rushmore.
Oh,
AKA guys that busted out in the NFL that I'm still not sure why. Will Levis for Jeremy Branham, Jimmy Clausen for Mr.
yes.
Mel Kiper. So my
quite high on Jimmy Clausen.
Yes,
Notre Dame
said he was going to retire. Jimmy Clausen was a bust. Didn't retire, coward. All right, so this is and also in honor of Bryce Young being benched already.
Yeah.
So guys I thought were going to be really, really good in the NFL weren't, and I'm still not totally sure why. And there will be a couple Bears on here for you guys, I promise. Okay? Because
I expected
it would be insane if there wasn't.
Well, number one, I'm going to start for the both of you guys. Cedric Benson. I'm still not sure.
Hook him.
I still rest in peace. Still not sure how he was not an absolute monster.
I think actually I have the answer for you, and I don't have his rushing total in front of me. But he ran for like 5,000 yards in college. He ran for over 1,000 years. 1,000 yards.
1,000 years.
Yeah. Well, he did run for 1,000 years. He ran for over 1,000 yards every year at Texas, 4 years in a row. Even as a freshman, he was over 1,000 yards. They ran his legs off.
I'm going to go, just to keep it for me here, because this is my list, Justin Fields. I thought
he was going to be good.
Like,
I'm with you. I did it. I thought he was going to be good.
6 touchdowns or whatever it was against Clemson in the college football playoff, I was like, I'm in. That's it. He's the dude. And, he just never looked anything competent like a passer like he did in college.
Oh, it was obviously there was that brief moment in time where they decided, F it, let's let him run. And he ran for 1,100 yards over – that wasn't even a full season when they made the switch. But, he could never get it. Now, I will say, to make the defense for your Bears, or not for that Bear, not for your Bears organization, they gave him no weapons to throw to.
Oh, no weapons.
No weapons at all.
And no offensive line, as they continue to do. Continuing, because it's my list.
You don't have to keep justifying it.
I know.
You can give us whatever list you want.
Brady Quinn. I honestly, I thought that there was something there. Of the other Notre Dame quarterbacks, or guys the Bears have picked, not as much of a believer, but I thought there was something there with Brady Quinn. I mean, maybe it's because he got drafted to Cleveland, it didn't work, but I just thought watching him in college, he was going to be the dude. Jamarcus Russell has to be on this Mount Rushmore +1.
You believe in Jamarcus?
I think
the whole sideshow. Hey, look, I could kneel down on my knees and throw it 70 yards.
I was young, so I think I kind of I bought into all the cool things they were saying about him on TV. But then the number one person on my list when I came up with this idea of the guy that I thought was going to be incredible in the NFL and was a total bust, and I still don't totally understand why, has to be Justin Blackman.
Yeah,
he has to be Justin Blackman.
He was
I think I know why.
There were a few drugs involved in why.
But even then, he wasn't that good.
He had that one really. Remember that
he had a game against the Texans.
Yeah,
I think it was the one where Andre Johnson won it in overtime game.
Yeah.
And he had 300 yards receiving, and it's a large percentage of his career passing or career receiving yards for Justin Blackman is that game.
Yeah, he was insane in that game, and the Texans won on the walk-off screen pass to Andre. But Blackman, obviously at Oklahoma State, he was a beast, and they had produced at that time. Several beast wide receivers in the NFL. I thought he was going to fall right in line, but he was done quick.
Right?
Yeah, Dez
he was
there.
right before Dez.
I think you're right. Yeah.
But
my first man off my Mount Rushmore was Justin Gilbert, the corner,
corner from Oklahoma State.
Yeah. Something about Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. There's more Oklahoma State than there were Chicago Bears.
I know.
I was going to say the entire 2006 NFL draft.
Yeah,
but that's another one in the Jamarcus Russell zone where I may have just been young and I was like, all these guys are awesome. They're all going to be awesome.
Yeah, I briefly thought Matt Leinart was going to be good, but
Leinart, Bush is probably the leader in that. Where I'm like,
He had a 1,000-yard season. He had
Bush
one.
is tough because
he had one.
he still had a
season.
good career, but we all just thought he was going to come to the league and just change.
Revolutionize the sport. Yeah. All right, so my Mount Rushmore +1, and obviously we'll let main event Mapes main event. It actually has some crossover, Joe, to your list you gave. This is in honor of Bryce Young. This is my bless your heart Mount Rushmore +1. These are little guys that it's like. Bless your heart. Like, I mean, they're out there trying, but you look, I mean, Joe, I assume you know what I'm talking about with bless your heart. I know you're from the Midwest, but you see these little guys out there struggling. It's just like, oh, bless their heart, man. They're trying their best, but they just can't do it. They're little guys. It's not going to work. So the reason for the season, number one, Bryce Young.
Yep.
I mean, bless his heart.
Seems like a great guy.
Yeah, seems like a great guy.
Did all the right things.
Did all the right things. He's out there trying. He's out there trying to get things done.
At least Jamarcus Russell has the excuse of I was on drugs. You know, Bryce
Young's just out there overthrowing receivers. He's not trying to. Bless his heart. He's doing the best he can, but he's just a little guy. It's not going to work. Number 2 on my list, Texas roots here. Case McCoy. Bless his heart. Just goofy looking dude. I mean, he trying to follow in the footsteps of his brother. He was also, a little guy, although he was thick. Colt McCoy, obviously all-time legend at Texas, probably second best quarterback in school history besides Vince. Certainly in the record books. But yeah, Case McCoy, he had the goofy look grin. We'll always fondly remember him for his Forrest Gump run against Texas A&M to set up the Justin Tucker field goal in the last game against A&M. But overall, Case McCoy, just, bless your heart. 3, this is a little off the board, but I didn't watch a ton of the Olympic basketball outside of the USA games, but I just randomly, like on a Saturday morning, flipped it on. And it was Japan versus Germany. And there was this I looked up his weight and his height. Yuki Togashi, 5'6", 148 pounds. Okay. And he looked even smaller on the court. Like when I say 5'6", 148, he's like, man, that's a tiny dude. He looked even smaller on the court. Just going up against the Germany team. The whole time I'm watching that, I'm just like, man, bless this guy's heart. He's out there hustling. He's out there scrapping and trying, slapping the floor like he's playing for Duke basketball. But he's 5'6", 148. He doesn't deserve to be. He doesn't need to be on an Olympic basketball court. 2 more. And one of these has a Bears tie-in for you, Joe.
Oh,
I already gave Sean the tie-in for Texas, but I'll go ahead and go with the Bear. Tariq Cohen.
Oh,
bless his heart.
I love Tariq Cohen.
Little bitty dude.
Someone literally on the sideline, patted him on the head.
That was tough.
On the top of his head.
Yeah, that was a tough day for him.
5'6". 5'6".
Hey, same.
Yeah, Tariq the Dinosaur Hunter had an amazing time. There was a brief moment of time where the little gadget plays and the return games. Like, man, he could do something.
He was electric.
And then he still remained 5'6", and he just kept getting hurt. And his body hated football. Yeah. So that was
it's just he got hurt because all the guys hitting him are so much bigger.
Twice
exactly. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. Last one on this list, someone who I thought was going to break out, and I decided I had to have him on this list because we're in Louisiana. He played for LSU. I thought Trenton Holiday was going to be a great NFL player, but
Texans legend.
Yeah, bless his heart.
That's a good one.
Bless his heart. He was too small. 5'5", even shorter than Tariq Cohen. I thought he was going to be good, but you thought we think Tank Dell's a little guy. Trenton Holiday, even littler. Bless his heart for Trenton Holiday.
That's a good list.
Thank you.
Solid list. I'm actually a little upset on Joe's behalf, but Joe handled that
Did
very
anybody
well.
I left off on my list? Any bless your hearts come to mind?
No, none that I was,
All right. I'll take
I always
a
feel
lap
a
on it.
little attacked by Brian's Mount Rushmore.
Well, last time we were here, I did a Mount Rushmore of the biggest moments in your life outside of signing up for a gym membership.
Yes.
But
at least the first time you did it was the Mount Rushmore of Joe's. Like,
yeah. Of Joe's, I don't want to hang out with.
Right.
You weren't on the list.
Yes,
so,
that's good.
Mount Rushmore +1 of things that should get banned instead of cover 2 defenses
okay.
in honor of Mel Kiper. First up, the guy who says if it touches your hands, you can catch it when watching a football game. That's just not true. I don't know.
I
how
don't
else
know.
to say
Tank
it.
Dell should have caught it. It touched his hands last week.
Sometimes it's true, but
not
not
always.
every time it touches your hands.
Yeah, if
No.
it just grazes the
If they
fingertips.
throw it at your ankles, you're not supposed to throw it better. The late flag after a pass is incomplete, denoting a defensive pass interference, where they wait for it to be incomplete, then they throw the flag. Ban it. Get it out of here.
I totally agree.
The graphic that says analytics say go for it on fourth down. At the very least, mix in some punts. It doesn't matter even if it's obvious, it's 4th and 11 from your own 20. Just throw up the graphic so not every time the graphic comes up it says go for it. Give me a couple where it's like, actually, analytics say punt this ball, play the field position game.
That's long for a graphic. I think we're going to have to trim down the verbiage.
Really? What? I'm on number 4. 2 more left. Excessive celebration penalties. This is mostly in honor of Drake London. Just doing a t-shirt cannon. Just doing a t-shirt cannon.
Popping off like Yosemite Sam.
A t-shirt cannon like Yosemite Sam. Shout out to Raheem Morris for having his guys back.
Yep.
In that way. And finally, Mount Rushmore +1 of things that should get banned in football instead of cover 2 defenses. The nickname Hard Dog and G-Row.
Oh! I feel attacked. It's a great. Like I didn't come up with those nicknames, but they're solid nicknames.
You're keeping them alive.
Hard Dog and G-Row co-chargers today.
That's Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman.
I don't know who that is.
For those of you out there.
I know Hard Dog and G-Row as running the Chargers.
All right.
Looking for a Greg Roman, head coach of a football team soon still.
Sean actually dared to put a limit on how many times I could say Hard Dog and G-Row on
And
Friday.
it didn't
No,
matter.
it did not stop me.
Blew past it.
What was the number you tried to set?
1 per hour.
1 per hour.
Well, how many did you do it?
He did 3 in hour 1.
Only a 2-hour show.
It just kept coming up. Cam's a Chargers fan. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, that's true. I wonder how he's feeling about the Chargers right now. I'd imagine not very good. They're 2-0, but
Yeah, I imagine it's always just a light level of stomach ache when you're a Chargers fan. just years
So
of
they're
just,
gonna at some point Chargers gonna charge her.
yeah, it's just things have been too good for too long. It's only week 2. Things have gone too good
It's
for
been
too
too long
long.
since they punctured some quarterback's lungs
Yeah.
with a needle. So things can't keep going this well forever.
still an all-time story that Justin Herbert found out he was starting 5 minutes before the game because Tyrod Taylor got stabbed by a needle.
By Dr. Death,
Yeah, the
played
worst,
by the Chargers.
the worst doctor of all time. All right, that does it for us for this edition of the Bullpen. Shout out to ESPN Bet LaBerge for having us out this weekend. We're excited to hang out for the next couple hours and watch the Texans game and a bunch of other games on in front of us. Boys, best of luck with your bets
Thank
today.
you. Same
Thank
to you.
you.
And we will talk to you guys later. Goodbye.